All right, so
I have to give you a little bit of credit for this.
Yeah, we can overdub it later. Just so
haven't had any crazy stories about. Oh wait, no, I do. I got robbed at gunpoint, mugged.
Checking for me, but I ain't checking for them. No.
it's sleazy real estate, guys. But
you.
all right, so another episode of the EP podcast with another guest interview. I have my friends, podcast friends, as well here with me, the ones and only Keith Faulkner and Agent Records from the Leave It Running podcast. Guys, how are you?
So good.
Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all once again.
Thanks for having us back.
Absolutely. Setup's a little different from last year.
It is.
I like it.
We got a couple more things. I missed the old setup already. For those that aren't able to see the setup, we picked up a bunch of equipment. We're no longer with just a camera, my iPhone camera, and 2 lights. So I do miss those days where it was just like quick to set up. But here we are.
This is super nice, but it is.
Yeah.
It comes setup, but it saves you a lot of time on the back end.
That is true. That is true. That is. I think it's a net positive. I think it's a net positive. Yeah. So yeah, guys, let's catch up a little bit. See where you guys are, how you guys are doing with the podcasting and everything. Let's talk about the space. Let's just see where it goes.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So if you haven't already, please like, comment, share, turn on the notification bell for many more episodes to come, and visit eppodcast.us for more merch. We have mugs, tees, polos, the whole nine. So okay. So guys, it's been so I was looking at the calendar because we recorded last week at your place.
Yep.
And I was looking at the date, and I think it said I uploaded our episode 9 months ago. So I'm gonna assume we recorded like anywhere from 9 months to a year from ago, right?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So it's been a while now, and a year in the podcasting space can be the make or break point for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are still around. You guys have recorded how many episodes now?
55?
55.
55 is huge. It's huge. What's it saying? Is it like 99% of podcasters will make it past the first episode, and the number just increases after more episodes you record?
Yep.
So tell me, how is it that you guys have now, obviously made it past one episode, which you guys already were when you guys last came, but now are almost 60?
Yeah. I think a huge part of how we're able to still do it now is how much work Adrian and I put into it when we first started.
Okay.
So just how, you were saying with all the new equipment, it actually really it's a lot more work. It was hard to get here, but now that it's here, it's sort of streamlined your process.
Yeah, we had always figured it'd be rough in the beginning, and once we streamline, I think we said that, like, I don't know how many.
Yeah.
We're trying to convince ourselves really early on, like, once we get it figured out, we'll have it.
Yeah.
Like we took the big steps early, and it took us 2 months to, come up with a good enough product, and then
process, really.
Yeah. And then, then the process comes then, like, I think after episode, probably episode 12 or 13 is where the process really started to get streamlined. We kind of played around with different operating software.
We went through a couple iterations.
Yeah.
The first one was recording individually and having to manually stitch everything together, and that was a non-starter.
Oh yeah.
And then we messed with a wireless setup where we could switch back and forth with
the internet, right?
Yeah,
I remember you guys told me about that one. Yeah, over Wi-Fi.
Is that what we used when you came over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, I don't know, but I remember you guys talking about it. Was it? Okay, okay.
Yeah, we were using an app, and then we had an issue where the internet cut out mid-podcast, and there went all our video feed, but we didn't realize it first.
That's the worst, man. That's the worst.
Yeah.
See, we didn't start having podcast issues with recording until we got all the complicated equipment.
Yeah.
So you guys are definitely ahead of the learning curve there. But here's the thing that we were talking about this earlier. It saves so much freaking time with editing now.
Yeah. I mean, when we were just doing it off 2 cameras, the amount of time it would take to do an hour and a half podcast, because it would take me a week. It would take, and that's 3 hours at a time of just stitch.
Dude, even a week is pretty fast for a 3-hour podcast.
Well, we were only doing an hour and a half because it was so much work.
Yeah.
To edit.
Yeah.
It looks so crazy when you're editing the bar of the video. It's cut.
And it's over in 5 seconds. You're like,
yeah. That's what people don't see. A minute of editing could a minute of a video could be hours of editing.
Yeah, and that's an hour and a half podcast was 4 to 5 hours of stitching everything together because you're basically watching it back and then pausing it, cutting, moving the camera feed, from one camera to the next, and then playing it, making sure you have it synced up, and then, that takes you an hour, and you've done 10 minutes of footage.
Yeah, that's my biggest role right now that I would like to replace myself in one day, specifically with the short clips. The short clips take me forever because we have the Beyond the Headline segment, which is pretty easier in comparison to the guest ones, because with the guest ones we're storytelling. We're storytelling, so you gotta add B-roll, the right sound, the right sound effect, like any images related to them. And then that could take me, like, literally, I think the last short clip I edited took me probably 4.5 hours for a 22-second short clip, and it performed like doo doo. Right, it performed like doo doo. So it's like you think this is gonna be so freaking great, and then the internet says nope. Nope, you thought. And then there's the Beyond the Headlines one where we cover stories, and that was much easier because it's just informative, right? It's just like we're just covering what's going on in our thoughts on it, plus any additional insights. So that doesn't take as much, which is why we only do 5 short clips for the guest interviews and 10 short clips for the Beyond the Headlines. It adds up throughout the month, but it's just it keeps us like in people's faces.
Actually, that's something I would like to ask you about. Like you talk about B-roll, and I've seen your clips, and they do look great.
I appreciate it.
But
you say your shit's whack. Your shit's whack.
where do you get your B-roll? Like, do you run afoul of any kind of copyrights? Because we kind of avoid stuff like that.
I knew that question was coming. Well, here's my train of thought, right? And yes, there's the big copyright thing. I usually use, not always, but I try to use Pexels, I think is what it is. Look up Pexels really quick, please. And it's like this. You're able to pull up, I think it's Pexels. Yeah, go ahead and answer that. And then it's free stock photos, royalty-free images, video shared by creators. So, like, for example, if someone's telling me, they were at the room sitting down, feeling depressed, I would, like, go in here, switch it from photos to videos. There, and I would just write sad man in room. Literally, like as simple as that. And then just click that, and then boom.
Okay,
and then you're able to adjust it by ratios, whether you wanted landscape or portrait.
So you go right there for that one.
Literally,
I
so
like
yeah,
the
exactly.
atmosphere.
And it's pretty quick,
formatted
right?
For a phone.
Hover on the second one. Hover on the second video. Yep, and then click download. That's how quick it downloads.
Okay.
Wow.
See, so it's like boom. So I'm able, because I have like a 3-monitor setup, essentially my laptop, my main screen, and then like a portrait screen. I'm able to just drag it and then drop it.
Yeah.
And then on the short clip, once I use my portrait screen to see what that looks like on steroids, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's what I use. Now, here's the thing, though. This kind of royalty-free footage does not perform as good as, per se, if I posted Jordan Belfort and Wolf of Wall Street after his wife dumped him and now he's depressed, in the Wall Street floor, whatever the case is.
Right.
That's going to perform a lot better.
Right.
Yeah.
That's going to perform a lot better. So I think there's a rule of thumb with that. I think if it's like no longer than 3 seconds, they're not really going to pay you any attention to you, or something like that. But it is copyrighted. It is copyrighted. So I kind of just rolled the dice on it.
Yeah.
I rolled the dice on
Yeah,
it.
because we probably dance with that line a little bit as well. Like when we bring stuff up, we're like, "Oh, what's that video?" And then our joke is we're like an hour in. Okay,
Yeah.
this will be all right,
Right.
And we'll just stream that video or that clip or something.
Yeah.
That's obviously copyrighted and it's on YouTube or whatever we're watching it on.
It belongs to someone.
But,
Yeah.
So exactly. It belongs to someone.
So, so here's the thing, though. But right now, it's not like Sony or some, any other big film industry is going to come at you guys right now for that. So it's but if it's right now, if it's able to get you engagement, just use it.
Yeah.
And then once you become a YouTube partner, if they start giving you a little bit of trouble, then that will maybe reconsider a little bit.
Avenues.
Right.
We'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
Right, literally. Because the one that gives me trouble is TikTok. I left TikTok, I think it was in 2024, January of 2024, February of 2024, because they kept giving me community guideline strikes for no reason, but they wouldn't specify what it was. And so I'm like, you know what? These guys want to call themselves the Freedom of Speech app. I'm gonna just say screw these guys, screw China, and then I left it for a year. But I'm like, shit. I'm like, I'm gonna say, and then they started getting threatened about getting banned and all that crap. So I'm like, screw you guys. But then it's like they keep bringing it back. So I'm like,
Right.
now I'm in the mindset of if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
So we started posting again on TikTok,
Yeah.
and we're getting traction off of it. But literally within my second post after coming back for a year, I get community guideline strike. So I've gotten strike like now 4 times, I think. So
Interesting.
I might get freaking taken down by like the end of the month. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. We
Are
might.
you mentioning 1984 Tiananmen Square, anything like that?
No, it's like literally, it was the last one was over my guest Dante. He was talking about never giving up, right? He was talking about never giving up, and then all of a sudden, boom, taken down for no reason.
CCP's
Whoa.
official stance is give up and
It's like, give up, America, give up, Americans.
Yeah.
He was talking about his business and mindset and all that kind of stuff. Like, no, we want you to fail, give up. But that's the whole thing. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Are you guys on TikTok?
We're not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like, what are you guys' thoughts on that now? Because they were gonna shut it down. I think it was last Friday if someone didn't like put in an offer or they went with a sale.
they want it to be divorced from like the Chinese
Right,
government.
ByteDance. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
I thought I actually was wondering about that. I thought that it was under like the Trump administration when the TikTok ban first came out and they were like pushing it, and then like Biden carried it on and
Yeah.
eventually followed through, and then Trump is now
Yeah.
bringing it
Yeah,
back.
like because Trump never goes back on anything he says or anything like that. He's very consistent with the things he says. But no, yeah, that's true. He was like, get rid of China, get rid of the TikTok, all this and that, and then Biden followed through with it. And then in January, all of a sudden, ByteDance decided to remove what's it called from the App Store, which is why all these iPhones started selling for like $50,000
Still have TikTok
if they
on.
had the TikTok on. Or here's the thing, though. Here's where we started being concerned was because not so much because of TikTok, but because of CapCut. Because the people who own TikTok own CapCut.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so I was like, oh shit, what do we do now? So then we found, then I started looking for American alternatives, and then the next one I found was DaVinci, the editing software, and it's American, and it's like a one-time payment of $300. So and we're paying right now $10 a month for CapCut. In 3 years, we're gonna it's reoccurring expense.
Yeah.
Whereas if we do DaVinci, it's gonna be a one and done, and and it'll have updates as it comes.
Right.
So we're definitely gonna make that move down the road. It's just a big learning curve. I got so good at CapCut. I already know the keyboard
Yeah.
shortcuts and everything.
Yeah.
Now it's just a bitch if I move over.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me about what you guys are. What you guys' struggles are now with the podcasting? Because you guys have, you're almost 60 episodes in. You guys
Yeah.
are figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
Like you guys got new challenges now. So what do those look like?
I mean, I would say like most of our challenges now, I think is the reels, just to go right back to that. I think that, they do pretty well. Obviously it's like just as far as like analytically, and the more we posted and the different things that we did post, shorter clips are the thing that seemed to be more successful. So we
That
started
TikTok attention span.
Yeah,
so we did start
absolutely.
tailoring them towards, being shorter. But, with our style of podcast, it's very difficult to get our long form conversation clip into 20 seconds.
Right.
Okay. So like, I think the way that the podcast is, we're going to have to start adding some structure, we've been very fond of the method of just like kind of letting like the camera run, like leaving the camera running, and just like doing our thing,
Organic,
just,
meandering.
yeah. So, not having too much structure, taking the pressure off, and just having a conversation.
Especially
with
because a lot of our
somebody.
guests aren't in podcasting. They don't spend a lot of time in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So if we're sitting there
Or,
conducting
like,
this like an
anytime.
interview,
Yeah, and that's why like we also I stopped doing introductions at least as much. Like, when it's appropriate, I felt. Like obviously for you, very appropriate. A UFC or like a potential UFC fighter or like an MMA, like an aspiring MMA fighter. Like, yeah, we had to put that name right there.
Right,
It's
of
like,
course.
we're kind of stamping it in history. So, but if I bring like one of our buddies on, and he's a mechanic and he's just like kind of into cars and we just want to chit chat for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, do we want him to introduce himself, or is it like cool if we just like let him try to like immediately make him forget that he's on a podcast, and let it just be organic and get like, the best version of him or her out.
Okay. Is there a car podcast out there?
several.
Several.
Yeah,
What's like the top three? Do you guys think of any?
Well, so like in the NASCAR space, everyone knows Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Okay.
So like he's got his own podcast and like a whole media group.
Mhm.
So like on that front, that's huge.
Well-
Racing that I'm closer to is
Mhm.
like the drifting. So like
Mhm.
Formula Drift, they have their own podcast as
Mhm.
well. Like
Well,
sponsored by
do you
them.
guys want to do like workshop style here? Let's see what these pages look like.
Sure, yeah.
Is that something you guys want to? Because here's the thing, right?
That's fine.
You guys already came on the podcast. We know about you guys, like
Yeah.
to like a lot of angles of it. So
Mhm.
if you guys haven't already, go watch the episode we recorded last year, so you can get to know them individually a little bit better. But let's take a podcast angle to this. What was the Formula One?
Formula Drift.
Formula Drift. Look up
Yeah.
Formula Drift. Let's look
I
them up.
think it's this one would be like Circle of.
Yeah.
No, was it?
Yeah, you'll probably find
Yeah,
it.
you'll
Yeah,
probably
just look it up. Yeah,
I
let's see.
actually
Okay,
forget.
Formula Drift. Okay,
Yeah,
is that first video?
Outer Zone. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, so just click. Is that it?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
click on it, and then go to their YouTube page. So they have about 700,000. Let's see. Click on where it says more on the top right. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so scroll down to more info. All right, so they have 3,500 videos and then 119 million views. So there's a big market for it. There's a big market for it
Yeah, for
because
sure.
one thing is being a Formula One fan. Another thing is being a Formula One fan that likes to listen to podcasting.
Yeah.
Right. So you start narrowing down here. So here's the things that I look at. Right. I look at, okay, so I see that they have is that a trailer on? Yeah, so they have their trailer, because when you go into your YouTube studio to edit the layout of your page, they ask you, do you want to have a trailer for people for a slide on your page? Do you want to have a video that might be suggested for them? Stuff like that. So they're doing trailers. These are the things I look at, and then they go with the for you stuff. So scroll down.
Mhm.
And then I want to see what their layout looks like. So, and they have their videos, which will be uploaded based on date, and then past live streams. Okay, cool. So they're very organized with their stuff,
Yeah,
which
this
is
a
cool.
big
Yeah,
professional
Right,
So this is,
right,
yeah, it's like,
right.
It's like NASCAR.
Yeah.
It's like,
But here's the thing.
it's like the NFL.
Right. But here's the thing. Is this something that's appealing to you guys? Is this something you guys would want to mirror in terms of like layout?
Yeah, for sure. I
Okay.
think the difference is
Mhm.
that, where it's a little bit of apples to oranges because, and especially like, it's unfortunate Adrian and I are into cars because they're very expensive.
Yeah.
It's not like you can just, grab a football and like, a little square of grass and just start having fun or like getting better at something.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money. There's like very small, like
Yeah.
group of places you can go to, across the
But you
United
could get
States.
connected with the people who have them.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, and it takes traveling, it takes networking.
Yeah.
Obviously, like this is especially in this realm, it's a completely financial incentivized like organization. So like, we would, and not to be deterred, but like we would be the small fish,
Yeah.
and then also to go off of that, like we're not necessarily like a media group, and we're also not necessarily, like we don't really have
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
What's the right word? Like we don't drift. We don't have like
Well,
these
you don't
crazy.
yet.
I mean, I have. It's been in my past when I was just a wee
Uh-huh.
lad. I dipped my toe, but and it's expensive. It
Yeah.
kinda chewed me up, spit me back out. I,
Yeah.
put my big boy pants on, got a real job,
Yeah.
and bought a house.
Yeah.
And, like now that I'm like financially better, I'm kind
Yeah.
of back into cars
Yeah.
and stuff. So
So here's the thing, right? That with kind of few, you touched on a lot of things there.
Sure.
So with specifically like the cars itself, yeah, they're expensive as hell. I just saw this video with Whistling Diesel. He went to, I forget, Monaco. Monaco,
Yeah.
He bought, I think, a Formula One. He bought a Formula One, spent a few million.
For that, he bought a old disused Formula One car.
Yeah. So I saw that. So they're definitely very expensive. But here's the thing: you guys remind me of Joe Rogan when we do your episode. It's very chill. There's like no necessarily agenda. The conversation
Right.
just flows. So would you guys, if let's say that if this podcast, like Joe Rogan's podcast, were to have a baby, is that more you guys?
That was the style we were trying to emulate because we were just fans of the organic. Like we're just here to chat with people about the interesting stories they have, what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yes, in a way.
Mhm.
And when we started off, we were really just.
Yeah.
I think we even mentioned it last time we were here. We didn't want to box ourselves in just because if we wanted to talk
Yeah.
to somebody about cars, cool, that's easy for us.
Absolutely.
That's something we absolutely love. But if you come on, like
Mhm.
I'm not going to turn down that opportunity.
Yeah. Because you think I could only talk to you guys about. I mean, I can't tell you shit about cars. I was gonna say I could talk to you a little bit. I really can't, dude. I could tell you a lot about passenger processing. Very good at that. I'm very good at that.
Yeah.
I'm very good about that. So yeah, let's scroll down a little bit more. Let's see what the rest of the page looks like. Okay. They have featured channels.
Yeah,
Cool.
This is like a
And then the
full,
shorts.
Yeah,
medium
like this-
arm of a big
Yeah,
organization. So.
Yeah.
So-
I think if you go to the top where they have,
Uh-huh.
they might have podcasts.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah, they do right there.
Yeah,
the
podcast. Yeah, that's the
podcast
playlist
bar.
thing. All the way down up in the tabs. Alexa. Yep, Alexa. Yeah, up within podcast. Yeah, you good.
Home stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So
like then you can click on those and like that only
Yeah.
has like 100 episodes.
Yeah.
So like because like the podcasting thing just took off because Formula Drift's been around for a long time. So
Yeah.
they've had years to just like kind of collect videos.
so they have a podcast segment.
right.
Yes.
This is for all of Formula Drift. They just have a
Yeah.
podcast. The Outer Zone is the name of the
Yeah,
podcast.
right.
Okay, I see.
Now,
Yeah.
as far as like automotive related podcasts, what I've noticed at least, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a lot of these YouTube channels that have started off doing car centric content, building weird shit, race cars, all that. And then they got into podcasting and they were able to take their fan base and grow
Right.
off of that.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, I think as far as like I know, I obviously that has to be some of it, but I don't even think that it's like. So, for instance, like this one that we're talking about, like this is just like a multi-million-dollar, organization that
Yeah.
has money to like start investing into
Yeah.
podcasting as it got big.
Yeah.
So like now they've dipped their toe. I think that there's not a whole lot of people that are doing like who are into cars and doing a podcast because the entertaining part of cars is not like talking
In
about
podcasting
it.
is
It's
doing it. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
watching someone do it.
Yeah.
So it can be difficult. And another one that I'm actually a huge fan of, it's pretty local to us, is the Faction Motorsports, which is it's a shop, it's a garage where they work on a very unique select cars. Like they specialize in these cars and specialize in selling those parts. And then because of their background and the people they know and the people they have on, they've done a podcast. So, and just once a week, they're just having drivers and like teams of drivers come on, or just related mechanic fabricators, when anything kind of car related that these people do, they'll come on and they can just talk.
Okay, what's pull that one up. What's it called again?
That's the Faction After Hours podcast.
The Faction After Hours.
Shout out to the Faction boys. I bought a lot of stuff from those guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Shout out.
Yep, first link right there.
Yeah.
So this, and then click on the what's Faction Motorsports.
Yeah,
That was,
Faction.
so click on that.
So, and and like this is a great example of like someone who's like to me in my eyes, like these are the kind of people that have like earned their right to be like, they're backed by experience and like really living and breathing that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
So like, I guess it's what I'm trying to explain is like an imposter syndrome that I
that's
I always
totally
deal with,
fine,
where I'm
though.
like, who am I to talk? Because that's also what Adrian was talking about with like, when we're going into some of these podcasts, the other half of what he was saying is that like, well, if we just came down there and just like kind of chit chat, we also don't have to like do all of this research.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to be professionals or experts in like one specific topic. We can kind of just come down and shoot the crap about like whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
Or whatever's going on in the world for that matter. Just kind of give thoughts and opinions and hopefully learn something by the end of the podcast.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing too, right? I think people, when it comes to cars, you could only paint the thing so many different ways once,
another
right?
point.
So people really, at the end of the day, subscribe to the person, right? The personality. So the imposter syndrome is completely normal, natural. And that happens anytime you start up anything, because you never know what the hell's going to come out of it, if anything. So that's just part of it. Click on more on their page. I want to see what their numbers are like. Go down. So they have 411 videos. They've been around since 2014, so 11 years. Get almost 1 million views. So these guys, where are they located?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Look at that.
Yeah, so they're local.
They're local.
Have you guys reached out to them?
I have not.
Reach out to them.
Yeah, I mean,
no, you did reach out to them after you ordered the wrong steering rack.
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
how about
ordered,
that?
Yeah, I've ordered a lot of parts.
Dude, reach
so-
out to them and be like, hey, Faction Motors. I mean, be like, hey, Faction Motorsports, big fan here. We've ordered from you several times before. You know, we're in the podcast space. We love your channel. We love what you're doing. We'd love to sit down and have a conversation with you one day. We're actually like, you're in Jersey. We're in PA. Let's work. Let's work. Let's, like, just how we did. Just how we did.
That's definitely like the style and the fashion that we should be taking it. And I'll also say, like, you know, it was only this year that Adrian and I really decided that, like, you know, the podcast should be more focused and like on a topic.
Yeah.
It should be cars. And now that it is cars, we're like, maybe that's too big. Maybe it should just be racing, or maybe we just pick these little things and just kind of run with them.
Yeah.
And it'll still be random, but it'll at least be the things that we're like truly passionate about.
Yeah, I mean, like, we started off talking about like everything, and then we kind of got tired of reading the news because it's depressing, and we got tired of talking about it. And we're like,
Yeah. So bless your heart.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? You guys started what year?
2023.
2023. So we had the pandemic to talk about from 2020 to like 2024.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was politics up till now, and that's still going on,
Yeah.
right? So as time goes, trends die, and then we have to find ways to reinvent ourselves.
Sure.
So that's the thing, dude. Please reach out to this guy.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
if you
definitely-
guys are you guys both interested in this person? Are you guys both interested? Not just you, because I know you're interested. Are you interested in this person? Yeah. Okay. So reach out to them. See what here's what I was looking at, right? Here, because you got to look at it. You got to have your podcast hat on, your host hat on, but you also got to have your podcast owner hat on, which is two different things, right? Because I was looking at simple stuff like, you see their layout is they have their trailer up front, they have their For You, and then if you reference the other channel, the Formula Drift channel, please pull up the Formula Drift channel on the other tab. On the other tab, yep. If you go back to home, they essentially have almost the same layout.
Yeah.
They essentially little stuff like that. So go back to Faction and then scroll down. Now they literally have almost the same layout. The only difference between this channel and Formula Drift channel is that Formula Drift is a media, right? That has a podcast segment to it.
Yeah.
This guy is what? Podcasts and what else?
bit of
Shop.
Shop. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like mainly, so what it is a shop.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
So they were like advertising through YouTube on like this is what we have in stock.
Yeah.
Put it on a car.
Uh-huh.
You can buy it too. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
You know, and then or you know, taking a car that they put together, they built for a customer, take it to the track.
Yeah.
And then I don't think that was videos. That was way less.
Yeah.
You know, then it was like they started podcasts and then
Yeah.
they just went off to the races.
Well, here's the next thing I want to look at. Go to their videos tab, please. And then sorted by popular. Okay, their top performing video is
Jimmy Oaks.
who's Jimmy Oaks? I know Jimmy Oaks.
He's another automotive
Big guy in the
YouTuber.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jimmy Oaks 1, Jimmy Oaks 2.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like the podcast. It's still there's a lot of opportunity because so let's look at just like their last 12 videos. I see 1. I see 2. I see 3. 3 out of the last 12 videos have been podcast related.
Yeah, and those
yeah.
guys do like crazy stuff. So like Prism Mike also crashed, like pretty much crushed a car.
Yeah.
Put it back together. Got it back on the road and like was able to track it.
Yeah.
So like it just recorded the whole thing.
And don't you guys say that you guys work on cars together too sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes. But probably not to this extent. But
Yeah.
and again, like, you know, and I hate to like, yeah, because like I think that we're getting there, you know, because we had just kind of started like thinking about like this is what we want to do. So like I think we
both
summer,
have some decent projects coming up that would
Yeah.
be worth recording.
Yeah. Just
yeah.
fucking. Do you guys have like a wireless mic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just
we have
clip those on.
We've been setting up for this.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So
'Cause
here,
like I said, a lot of these automotive podcasts seem to be an offshoot from
uh-huh.
a channel. Well,
Yeah.
from a channel that
Yeah.
does something. So like we're looking at that and we're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe we need to expand into like just do that as well.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. At the very end, go to their shorts because you guys say you guys are working on your shorts.
Yeah.
Let's see the latest. Okay. So the last. Let's look at. So 3,
Second one's
6.
got 12K.
Let's see the first 12
so
here.
there's
Scroll down a little bit
Jimmy
more. Yep, right there. Okay, so and then, are you able to scroll to popular? No, actually, don't go to Poppy. I want to look at their last 12. Okay, so 3. So this is the things I look at, right? So I'm seeing that out of
So the second one that's
yeah.
12K is also Jimmy Oaks.
So Jimmy Oaks.
Shout
So
out
this
to
Jimmy
Jimmy
Oaks is clearly an influential figure in the
Yeah,
space.
definitely.
This guy looks familiar.
Yeah, SR20 Bobby. Shout out.
Where the hell have I seen him? Oh, he almost looks like one of the freaking bartenders at my local tap house.
He's a Staten Island cat.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? I look at if I were you, if you guys are working on what the hell is working with our short clips, narrow it down, call it the first 30 short clips that the last uploaded, narrow it down to the podcast specific ones, and then analyze it.
Yeah.
How long is it running for? What kind of what kind of font? Because clearly they experiment with fonts.
Right.
What kind of font are you using? What color? It's industry wide where yellow is a great font color to
Yeah.
use. People for whatever reason they like yellow.
Yeah.
So there's that, like little things like that, and they just mirror it, right? You don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel. People want to subscribe to you at the end of the day,
Right.
and if there's a familiarity aspect to it, then even better, right? Because
Yeah, you're building a brand.
exactly. I remember one thing. Tom told me when he came on was, I often get not mixed up by looks, but I'm saying like I often get connected to Whistle and Diesel based on our content.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. So here's the thing: he capitalizes off that too,
Right.
because as he's building his own brand, there's a familiar aspect to them between both of them. I wouldn't be surprised if, what's it called? Like maybe 5 years from now, they end up doing something together.
Right. Yeah.
Hello, there's ghosts in here. So the thing is like, and here's the thing: when I was on the phone with him, when did we record? Look up Tom's Reefer podcast on the search bar. Yeah, that's fine. Well, on YouTube. I guess it doesn't make a difference. Yeah. Okay. So that was. Let's look at the no. Click on the podcast. Yep. No. So he doesn't have a podcast. So click pause and scroll down, and then hover over the 1 year ago. That should show up a date. There you go. September 13, 2023. So we'll be at 2 years today. 2 years ago, I think, like a year and a half ago, we got on the phone just randomly, just catching up. And he told me, yeah, I could see this going to, at the time, it was only at like maybe 40K. And he was like, yeah, I could see this going to 100.
Wow.
Like, just like no hesitation, no nothing.
Yeah.
I can see this going to 100. Look, it's at 86 now.
Yeah.
There's no way this and his audience keeps on growing and growing and growing. Like, there's no way it doesn't reach 100.
Yeah.
So, and he's who's the guy that kept showing up in Faction?
Jimmy Oaks.
He's like the Jimmy Oaks for me
Right.
here, right?
Yeah.
So and that's the thing, you guys got to connect with these guys like that.
Yeah.
For me, it was completely accidental.
Yeah.
But you guys will be more intentional, which is even better because interested people are
Especially
approaching
care,
it.
like about
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
that,
exactly.
sort
Yeah.
of thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
guys, I'm not a
Space.
fucking car guy, and this guy
Yeah.
was able to bring that in.
Yeah.
So imagine what you
Yeah.
guys can do. Imagine what you
sure.
guys can do.
Yeah.
So, so look at that, because that's what I do with my videos. Go to canva.com, please.
Yeah, and we definitely look forward to doing that. Adrian's got a huge.
Go to that first
project.
video there. I'm sorry, first, click on that. And this is behind the scenes stuff. So here's what I do. Literally, I rounded up our best performing full episodes analysis from the first quarter, and I did a 3-circle Venn diagram, and then I analyzed the most I could about each specific video and why it performed as good as it did. Typically, we think our guest interviews do the best, but this quarter specifically, our internal episodes did even better. That's for long episodes, and then scroll down, and then same thing with short clips. Like, what is it? Like, for example, the second one was one with Pat Brady and Sean Strickland, right? So now I write in there, okay, 44 seconds. There was like 15 cuts, pop-ups in between the video. What kind of style text I use. I use personal and mainstream B-roll footage, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's, that took a while for me to get to that point. I just started doing that.
Yeah.
But that allows me to, like,
repeat. You see what works.
Right.
It shows you what they have in common.
But it's like just doing the same thing, but for them, and then mirroring that.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, my Whistling Diesel, my Faction Motorsports is go to the Tom tab, please. Yep, and then type PBD podcast. And I'm open about this. Like, these guys are essentially our influence to some extent here. And then open them up. if you look at their page and you look at ours, they're almost similar. They are almost similar. So, like for example, and on a new tab, open our page, our YouTube page. Sorry, I know I have you working crazy here. Yeah, so like listen, look at simple things, right? Look at the banner, right? EP podcast, watch on YouTube, expectations of how often we upload. Go to PPD podcast, weekly episodes, PPD podcast, and then just stuff like that, and then literally down the road. See, I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel. Someone's look at this guy, right? Go to more on his page.
5-6 million subscribers.
Yeah, 2.56 million and almost 500 million views.
Yeah.
Right? There's clearly a market there. There's clearly a market there. So if I could just like, appeal to it, because here's the thing, I like what he does. I like the people he gets on and everything. So like, why not mirror it? And then as time goes, then I'll make my own thing.
Yeah.
A good example of that is go to Live tab. Their whole thing is home team, right? Because they have the guest episodes and they have home team episodes. I was like, I was telling Arthur, I was like, I don't know what the hell to call our shit. Let's just call it home team.
Right.
We did that for almost a year, and then I was like, then we all sat down and figured out, okay, what's our, what's our line of it, right? Because we always get frustrated with the mainstream media and how they try to stir up the pot, for lack of a better, word. So what do we call it? And then we use ChatGPT, which I keep telling you to use. Choose ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT, and it was like it gave us like 10 names and why it thinks we should use each one, and then we narrowed it down to beyond the headlines, right? 3 words, 3-letter acronym, boom, we stuck to it, and then now we've been just doing it since, and now it's just picking up. So that's what I'm saying. Do that.
Yeah. It definitely like makes sense, and I think for again like us, like we are in that this like weird middle period where it's like, okay, I think we got to start thinking about this.
Well, yeah,
so all this stuff is
have,
really good.
I think finally narrowed down the process enough that we are at a point where we can look at like, okay, now how do we
What
actually
else?
Get creative,
growth?
yeah. That's where the fun begins.
Yeah.
Once you get rid of like the boring stuff, like setting up, like what format we're using and all that kind of stuff, like when do we record?
Yeah.
Now you can start getting creative. That's when you can fucking start. I never thought I would get a fucking Canva subscription. Now it's like one of the best things I've ever done because I'm able to do so much with it, including something like that.
Yeah.
So it really, there's a difference between working in the business and working on the business.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, sometimes working on the business could be more fun or more boring. It just depends on what you're working on.
I think it's a greater swing of that pendulum. It swings a lot harder between more fun and holy shit, this sucks.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too, when once you start seeing the results of that, people start taking you more seriously too. It's like, because it's something the guy I last had on, Dante Januzio. He has this fences and gates company. Made his first million at 26, doubled it at 27. Doing fences and gates. I didn't know there was that much fucking money in fences and gates.
Crazy.
And it's trying to double it again this year, if not reach 5 million in revenue. So he was like, the moment I was able to, I upgraded all of our fucking shit. We got the best trucks. Obviously, this is expensive, and it could be somewhat related to what you guys are talking about, the cars.
Of course.
We got the best trucks. We put our logo on it. We had the polo with our thing on it, and then everything was professional. So people, because he's the thing, right? He's also 27. He's 28 now. But he was like, he's young. Why the hell am I going to listen to a young buck about fences and gates? Because their crowd is typically going to be older people, right? Because ain't no freaking teenager or early guy in his 20s putting up, looking to buy a fence or gate,
Not in this economy.
Yeah, especially not in this economy. So it's, how do we best present ourselves in the market we're trying to tap into? Reach out to that guy. Please do. Please do.
Absolutely.
So what do you guys are excited about now? What in the space?
Well, yeah, we've been working on like we kind of touched on, we've been working a bit towards kind of expanding the content that we make. Especially in the automotive space, it seems like the key to success is not just be a podcast, but like have something big to tie into that. And actually, that seems to be the case with most automotive channels. Is something takes off. We're going to cram a V8 in the back of a Porsche, or something along those lines, and that brings everyone in. And now it becomes almost a self-feeding machine where, like, okay, now they're making revenue through YouTube. They can buy more equipment, more shit. The same thing that we're going through, where like you want to upgrade your equipment and do bigger, crazier builds and all that. So Yeah, we kind of feel like we need to expand our horizons a bit beyond just podcasting. So I've got an old Model A that I'm trying to put together into a period correct race car. Keith has his drift car he's trying to build. And like, if we're going to be working on this, why not record it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Adrian intends on going to Trog, the Race of Gentlemen's.
Okay.
In Oceans?
Wildwood. Okay.
New Jersey.
Never been.
They
Never
race
been.
on the beach.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, in 100-year-old cars.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try.
Isn't that bad for the
Yeah.
car?
I mean, it's not great.
Hey, I'm gonna say like.
yeah, it's like I guess I don't know what the history is, but that's what they did. But like back in the day,
Should we look it up?
Sure.
What's it called? What's the
The
event
Race
called?
of Gentlemen.
The Race of Gentlemen.
Trog for short.
If you type in
That sounds like
Trog,
something you would do drunk.
Yeah.
The Race of Gentlemen.
Yeah. Right.
All right, let's see it. Yeah, let's look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Is there
racing on
about
the beach.
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh, but
Yeah.
it's specific. Is it like a beach specific car or
No.
regular car?
The car that I have is a 1929 Ford Model A.
It was like a road car. You know.
Wow, look
So-
at that. And then
And
let's
old
see.
bikes as well.
Yeah.
Let's go to their about page. It's all the way at the top. They have a tab. Yep. Okay. It's been happening on the founders. Da, 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 da. Let's see. TRG. Wow. So it started in 2012 and all. How do you say that? Osbury?
Asbury?
Asbury? Asbury?
Asbury Park,
Just
New
these
Jersey. Yeah.
hurricanes. Before Hurricane Sandy made landfall. Wow. Look at that. I never heard of this. Typically,
Yeah.
when I hear about Wildwood, it's just my Philly friends hitting me up that they're going to the weekend to get dressed.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that happens too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Not, because it's part of being a gentleman, right?
Right.
So, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're trying to go to this?
Yeah, I went last year just to spectate.
How was it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And there's
Okay.
So, I mean, I
obviously
bought a Model
so
A
much
after that.
going
So.
Oh, it's
That's how. That's
Yeah,
how. Good.
Yeah. So, it's not just like you need an old car to race. Like, they want everything to be period correct. You can't have modern parts on this car at all. It
Mhm.
has to be either a reproduction of a vintage part or actual vintage parts.
Mhm.
So, I'm trying to get this car together. We're kind of running into some roadblocks naturally. You know, that happens when you're working on a 94-year-old car.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But once we get those roadblocks sorted and we actually start building this car, I want to start recording that.
Yeah.
And
Do that.
Upload a series because there's not too many in that exact field. When I got the car, I went like full hyper fixated on this and was watching YouTube videos all about it. And there's not too much beyond like people who are trying to restore them or people who already have a hot rod and it's a really shitty 2-minute video that's starting it up and idling it and walking around it and then going for a little putt-putt drive. I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So just do your better version of it.
So
There you go.
exactly.
There you go.
What we want to do is take like the modern build video format that a lot of these YouTubers use
Mhm.
and then just bring it to this segment that's been, in my opinion, neglected, at least as far as my build. With
Yeah.
Your car, like,
I have like the opposite problem. So there's like
It's a
a
saturated
million
space.
people that have done it. You know, and you brought up a good point. Is that like people aren't subscribing because they've seen it because they've seen it a million times. Like they're subscribing because it's you.
Right.
And I'm like,
And what
that
your angle
actually
to it.
like got me very excited because I shared that thought. And then there's like I have to be actually entertaining. And I'm like, and then it's getting into that headspace. And then it's also like, I don't have any time to work on the car alone. You know, like there's already like that pressure of like, well, this has to get done and I have to film it and I have to be entertaining and charismatic and, and quirky and funny or like, did I get this? Yeah. So it's, I've done some test runs with the camera and the microphone that we have. So far so good. But,
hardware's good. so
yeah.
far.
Hardware is good, but
Yeah.
you know, the
Scheduling
making that
and
like,
actually
first,
doing it.
Yeah, initial video is going to be a little bit difficult. So
The first one always is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and the kind of choosing what's going to be right. I think.
Well, the
you
other
know,
issue we kind of run into is like when we go to work on these cars,
that's what I'm saying. Like
it's
there's no
here.
time.
Well, it's not just that. It's
Yeah.
okay. I did this, and now I have to wait a week for parts.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I did
Well,
this. and-
yeah, you have to plan for sure.
So, like, one of the reasons we haven't started recording with the Model A, even though I've done a little bit of work, is I don't want to do that piecemeal. Like, okay, in this episode, we're going to put on a carburetor. And that's it.
Yeah,
It's like, no, I want to get the carburetor. I want to get the cams. I want to get the cylinder head. I want to get the exhaust manifold. I want to talk to Furman about making a custom header. And then I want to get all these parts together and throw them at this car while recording.
That sounds like a long video.
It will.
and
be.
it'll be a long day and probably like a 30-minute video.
Well,
Yeah.
it's probably going to be.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be like
But you could probably
4,
get
5,
so many
6,
short
7
clips out of it.
hours
Yeah,
of
Yeah.
like
that much
actual
stuff,
work, of
yeah.
actual footage and actual
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
that will get distilled down to, I don't know, like an hour video,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that long.
Yeah.
I mean, a fun 2-part that works.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you were saying about being entertaining when you're recording, because to some extent you sometimes feel like you got to have a certain character,
Mhm.
right? But even then, I think about even if you have like the monotone, chill, like just laid back, maybe whatever it is.
And it can work.
Some people will like that
Yeah.
too.
It does work. There
Yeah.
are several channels that I've watched. They're not podcasts,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just content in general. Where actually, Vice Grip Garage,
Uh-huh.
he started by just buying a car on like Craigslist across the country
Mhm.
in a field. It's been there for decades, and he
Mhm.
just goes out there with some basic hand tools, buys parts from like local parts stores, and just pieces his car back together, and then tries to drive it home.
Mm.
And the entire time, he's just very mellow, very calm.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't got spark. Let me
Sounds like
check that.
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about Bob Ross.
Yeah.
How he's like so chill and everything,
Yeah.
but it's like, of course.
Yeah, but goofier.
But goofier, okay.
He's a little goofy.
Bob
He's
Ross
got
has some
a-
jokes. He has some jokes.
Bob Ross has a sense of humor, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You,
But,
you ever seen the video of him once his wife passed?
No.
It's
I-
like
I think I've seen that.
and then like here let's pull it up. It's okay. It's like a short clip. It's like Bob Ross right after his wife passes. Yeah, there you go. And then click on videos. And then right there, that first one. Click on that. Make sure we can hear the audio. You're fine.
You have dark on dark. You basically have nothing. There we go. It's like in life. If you gotta have a little sadness once in a while, so you know when the good times come. I'm waiting on the good times now. There. That makes absolutely have to have dark in order.
Yeah.
If you have
All
dark
right.
and dark, you basically
We're good.
have nothing. There we are. It's like in life.
Very good. We're gonna have to figure out the audio situation because we had it figured out before. Right now, I don't know what happened, but yeah.
Dark with a little light.
It says, "I'm waiting on the good times now."
Yeah.
I think the good times are coming for you guys, man.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting when you realize you've done it now for 60 episodes, and it's like you're about to start episode 1 of like a new angle to it.
Totally.
Isn't that exciting? Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's I'm very excited for it.
Mhm.
I think that it just like it kind of sucks because we're in this like little waiting period
Mhm,
where it's
mhm.
like
Yeah, we gotta
everything's
wait for the
not
pieces
quite
to
lined
fall
up.
into place
Yeah.
before we can really go at it. But once everything falls into place, I think
Yeah.
we're gonna have some really exciting stuff coming out. That I'm very excited to
Yeah.
work on.
Yeah. Reach out to that guy, man, because he's
Yeah.
still like you speak very highly of him. He has 8,000 subscribers, and I think he's still I mean, he's been around for a long time. Is it 11 years?
Yeah.
11 years. Like, work with the guy, man. I don't see why people who like the same things like to work together.
Sure.
Typically, so
Yeah.
reach out to him, man.
Yeah.
'Cause here's the thing. Here's the other thing, right? Today when I woke up, I saw that PBD podcast is having like a live showing in Fort Lauderdale on this coming Thursday.
Mm.
So might be going to that. Might be going. Last year I went to it. I think it was back. It happened to fall right on my birthday on March 8th.
Yeah.
And it was PBD podcast, the team, and Candace Owens was there, and Chris Cuomo was there.
Wow.
So just being around those kind of
Right.
people that love all that kind of stuff, you can't help but like start expanding your horizons on what it is what it could be. Because I remember going in there and seeing, holy crap, they have a bar right there. They have a cigar lounge right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like cigars. I like a drink. I
Yeah.
like the podcast.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like,
like,
shit, we
dang,
could do
can I
this.
stay here?
What if I bring this to Delaware?
Right.
What if I bring this to Delaware? Do something like this here. So
Ooh.
yeah. So there's a lot of exciting things happening. So
I love that.
so we're working on the new set now. Arthur just closed on what potentially is going to be a big shift for content creating in Delaware. This $2.2 million space here in Wilmington. It's a commercial space. I don't know if you guys saw like maybe my story like a year ago where I was. Yes, that place.
Yes.
So that finally closed on. And it's a
Congratulations.
lot to where. Yeah, Arthur. Shout out Arthur. So that we're working on a new set now. But while there's already a new set that we could potentially work on like a
Yeah.
couple of years from now.
Right.
So it's just like, and and on that building, you have your own private garage and everything. And on the rooftop, apparently, what I heard, the rumor is that they're gonna build a rooftop bar there. So I'm thinking, and by the way, when you walk into it, you're able to look over and you're able to see the people come into the building. So you ever been to a club where you go to the second floor and then you're looking at everybody, you have like your hero moment. It's like you ever to see people walk in, and then you can show them upstairs, take them to like the
Right.
rooftop bar upstairs, and then show them the studio and everything. Now that's a freaking vibe right there. That's a freaking vibe.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Hell yeah.
and that happened a year after we went to the PBD podcast
Right.
over in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
We literally went March 7th. March 7th, we flew. March 8th, the recording happened at 9 a.m. on my birthday, 9 a.m. all the way to 12 p.m. Then we flew back that afternoon into the evening, came back here and recorded a podcast that night. It was a long 48 hours, but man, it was fueling.
Yeah.
It was fueling because then that's when Arthur first came onto the team. And now Alexis is on the team. Jack is still on the team. We gotta figure some stuff there. And it's just we're moving into a new set, new equipment, and just like the horizon keeps expanding because we keep surrounding ourselves these kind of things.
Yeah.
So like you said, you went to the gentleman's race.
Yeah.
Then you bought a car. Then you
Yep.
bought a car because of it. So
Yeah.
maybe when you meet this guy, you're like, holy shit, I like this. I like this setup. I
Yeah.
like this setup.
Yeah,
And then the next thing
absolutely.
comes. And then the next
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
now let's be real here. Everything goes through his honeymoon phase,
Mhm.
and the long relationships with anything, it's how much pain are you willing to put up with? Because the pain really is what you guys are talking about right now, the time commitment,
Right.
right? The time commitment. So then the question comes down to how much pain are you willing to go through in comparison to how much you love the craft you're working on?
Luckily
Yeah.
for us, we came at this from probably a slightly different angle than you did originally, where this was literally just we talk all the time at work. Why don't we just record it? Yeah, this is fun. It's primarily for us. Secondary, it'd be really nice if this was my retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's like you never know. You never know what could come of it. When we first started, we were like, we don't know what the hell we're doing. We're just gonna try to record 100 episodes and see where it goes. I didn't realize that 100 episodes would essentially equate to maybe 1,000 hours of work by the time we get there.
Right.
So you realize whether or not you're good at something after 1,000 hours of doing it,
Yeah.
if not more. I think you can fill that out 1,000 hours. I think there's another rule of like 10,000 hours to reach level of mastery or something like
Yeah.
that. Look that up really quick. 10,000 hour rule.
That's what they consider a professional or something.
Yeah, hour rule. Yep, outliers. Okay, so
Yeah, achieving mastery in any field requires 10,000 hours
Yeah.
of dedicated practice.
yeah, so 10,000 hours. So here's the thing, right? We've only been doing this for not even 3 years yet, technically. Not even 3 years yet, and we're not even touching 1,000 yet. We're probably gonna touch 1,000 at 3 years. At the rate we're going at, we're not gonna see for 10 more years 1,000 hours.
Yeah.
But the compound effect happens, right? Because you
Right.
end up getting more people involved, and now you're putting in more hours collectively.
Yeah.
So the 10,000 hour rule becomes even more grasp at reach. So yeah, man, that's because that's what I battle with sometimes. Is like, God, I fucking can't stand editing no more, man. But it's like, but when it comes together, then it's like that relief, that release.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like Trump. Trump, he says, with the word he likes better than love, they're making love. Tariffs. It's like that. It sucks, but then you love it to some extent. So
Right.
it's how much. This is when you guys really find out how much how much you guys really actually love what you guys are trying to
Yeah.
accomplish here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we made it through the
Absolutely.
first barrier, that 1 year mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're coming up on the second one, and it's also coinciding with when we want to start expanding operations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we talked about a little bit too last week was that because you guys were recording every week.
Yeah.
You guys were recording every week. That's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot. So are you guys going to cut back a little bit and then work on
That
this
was the
more?
plan.
For sure. Yeah, definitely gonna cut back. I think maybe even like a small hiatus, like I don't know exactly how long that's gonna
Mhm.
take, but like just to do some rebranding and then also and I don't know where that hiatus is gonna be, but I'm sure it's gonna be like the
Or if
beginning
that hiatus
of
turns out to be necessary, we're still in like the early.
but
Yeah.
I just know that it's gonna take a lot of time to start these like car content videos, you know? And so a lot of that's going to take up the little bit of free time that we do have off of our day job to go, you know, do those things.
Yeah.
And, like, we can't do both, you know? So hopefully we liked your structure of being able to do, you know, 2 podcasts a month like that. And then, you know, if those in between times were us like doing car stuff or car content or like track events or the Trog event, shaking hands, meeting people, you know, whether or not it even has anything to do with the podcast or not, but just like you were saying, just being in that space and being around people, I think is going to be huge.
Absolutely.
We should get the guy who coordinates St. Peter's Cars and Coffee.
Yeah, that would be another good idea.
Although I think he's like out of state in college.
Well,
We'll talk about
Yeah.
that. Sure.
Here's the thing. Sit down and write down a list of people of interest.
yeah.
Write down the people. I'm a little hesitant to pull up. Don't pull it up in the screen. Like leave the camera in the middle, but pull up the Google Drive just because I don't want to put any names out there, and it's gonna be harder to see it if it's on the middle camera. Go to the Drive. Just hit the Drive tab, and then go to let's see here. Go to Operations, the Operations folder. Yep, there you go, and then go to Guest Pipeline, the bottom left. Yep, and then here's the thing. If you go to of interest tab, I sat down and I just scrolled through it really fast. I sat down and I wrote down 100 names, and then go to the to schedule tab because I'm not trying to show any names on the camera, and then to schedule that I need to schedule and have lunch with, right? And then I put it down on, and then go to the schedule tab. Boom, and that's how
And that's
the
people
people schedule. And then you guys are on there, which is happening
We can show
today.
that name.
And then guest schedule, next tab. Yep. And then those are the confirmed ones. And then go to the first tab, the pivot tab. And then I'm narrowing it down. So it's like I've systemized it,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So it's like if you guys could do that, but for people of interest to you,
Yeah.
then that just puts you even more in proximity
Yeah.
to who it is you want to be around, the things you want to do, and
Yeah.
ideas will
Yeah,
just
I
start
think
flowing.
there's,
We
there's
could just-
something to be said about like putting it to paper, so to speak. It gives you a concrete, like
Yeah.
physical
Yeah.
list of goals, and you know, going into psychology.
Yeah,
probably
because
makes it more fun
last
to
year, like
chasing it.
Adrian was like, "Dude, people want to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
That's crazy." It was like
Right.
till like now,
Yeah, the
and then,
first
like,
time that we did
now-
have a guest.
Yeah, we're just like, I don't know that they. Yeah, it's just the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
we just want to be on, so
Yeah.
we're just kind of willy nilly doing it. But
Yeah, this
but
becomes
yeah,
a part-time job
For
at
sure.
some point. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it already feels like it, I'm
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
But it's only going to get busier.
yeah,
It's only going to get busier. Literally yesterday, I had lunch with a future guest and a sponsor, and then that night, between that time and that night, I had to do a little bit of prepping, and then that was like a 3-hour lunch. And then came back, set up. We set up and then recorded, and then woke up today, set up, recorded, and then now we're gonna work on the new setup at Arthur's house, and then we're gonna do some research for another recording tonight at 6:00, and then we're gonna record again,
God.
and then tomorrow I gotta make time to edit the episode and end short clips so we could announce it by 3:30 tomorrow, Sunday, and then release it by 9 a.m.
And
Monday.
you're doing all this with a day job.
With a day job, real estate on the side, EPEX, the personal development company, and that's how calendars is gonna be your best friend.
yeah,
A calendar's
especially
gonna
for
be your
you.
best
If
friend.
you told me you weren't using calendars, I wouldn't believe it.
Dude, I couldn't. I really couldn't. And dude, and you know what? You know what's the next thing? Chat GPT. Use freaking
Yes,
Chat
I
GPT.
will.
You would think
We're
they're a
gonna-
sponsor with the. Dude, if you're not leveraging AI for your business or your passion projects, whatever it is you're working
Yeah.
on, it's like not being online in general, just for business,
Right.
like
Yeah.
in today's era.
Not
Like
Googling
it's just not. Yeah, so it's like it's not much, but that's March and it's April, and I just put all my calendars
He says
together.
it's not much. The calendar's
Yeah,
full.
that,
But
that's
it's
packed,
like
bro.
it's like it's I need that because otherwise I don't know,
Mhm.
right? And then I do a little bit of consulting on the side, so it's just like
right.
it's just and it keeps me rolling. It keeps me
Yeah.
rolling.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would think I'm on freaking crack sometimes.
Yeah. So if I can ask a question,
Please.
how
No,
do
I actually don't.
Yeah. Like what levels you with all that? Because like if that's something that we aspire to kind of like mimic more of a packed schedule and like kind of playing with that and like not to say that like my calendar's empty, but I just know those days I'm busy. I'm working.
Well, I'm on the train of thought of the more I could free this up,
Yeah.
with stuff like that, from like just having it on the calendar and I have to think about it here,
It's just step
the
one.
more I'm able to get creative.
Yeah.
The more I'm able to, which is why people get employees, which is people, get all these different employees so they can focus on more specific, the bigger picture items. And then the other thing is being of service, right? If I'm not bringing if I don't feel like you're getting something out of this, then I'm like, oh no, like I want you
Right.
to feel like
Yeah.
when it comes to sales, the best compliment I can ever get is when I tell them the price, when we're finally at the closing part of the cycle, and you got to get them to commit, whether or not they commit, and you got to tell them the price. If they hit me with oh, that's it. That's the best compliment you could ever get.
Yeah.
That's the best compliment you could ever get with podcasting. And I'm interviewing a guest. What the best compliment I could get is you know what? I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a big fan of. It's been 3 hours.
Yeah, it's been 3 hours.
Yeah.
That too. That too. Just little things like this, just little wins like that is the things that fuel me. Because at the end of the day, when people ask me, so where do you want to go with this? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to keep seeing it grow. I just want to
Yeah.
keep seeing it grow, and that's what fuels me. That's what
Yeah.
fuels me. Because
Yeah.
it's just what it is.
Yeah.
So there's really not much to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just like run from burnout, or like this
I
is
definitely
just
burn
what
out.
you
I
want?
100% burn out. You know what that reminded me of? Pull up Mr. Beast's video on burnout. No, actually, Elon Musk. Yeah, Elon
How
Musk.
does that guy avoid burnout?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Elon Musk. Most people don't want to be me. Something like that. And you know what's funny? Because he was on the guy you like that who does podcasting. The guy with the black suit.
Oh,
shirt.
Lex Friedman.
Lex Friedman. Yeah,
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, right there. That first video. Let's look at that real quick, and then this could be a good way to close out.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, unless you guys want to go into anything else.
No, I think that was good.
Something difficult you're going through that people don't often see.
I don't think most people would want to be me. They may think they don't want to be me, but they don't know. They don't understand.
How are you doing?
I mean, overall, okay. In the grand scheme of things, I can't complain.
You get a moment?
Sometimes, but
The Charlie Munger show.
like,
Here,
it's
pause it and then pull up the Mr. Beast one on the same search tab. Mr. Beast on do Mr. Beast on burnout. 'Cause that's more related to that. This is more just on the lifestyle. There you go. Let's see. Hold on. Scroll down. I don't know which one it was. Scroll down. Yep, the first one right there. It might be that.
And so you gotta like heavily recharge, and like so like watching, for me, anime or whatever it is, playing a board game like that.
Or
is
I'm
actually
sorry, just
better
look
for-
up Mr. Beast. Most people don't want to be me, or something like that. I might just be butchering this entirely, but oh yeah, it was in that video. Yep, there you go.
You do not want to be me, Mr. Beast. That first
So,
short.
dude, scroll down. The short might come up on this.
I think it's that first one, the red. Is that it?
The scroll up. I'm sorry, go up.
You don't
Yeah,
want
maybe
to
that
be
one.
me.
Maybe that one. Go ahead. Yeah, it's not the same guy, but he might be saying the same
No
thing.
one's ever gonna do what I do better than me. Like it's just not. It's not even humanly possible. Like I reinvest every penny I make.
Yeah.
I work every hour I'm awake. I devote every atom in my brain to solving this. I hire the best people on the planet. I've been doing this for 14 years.
The barrier to entry to be you is extremely high,
Yeah.
right? Especially where you're
Well,
at
it's just
now.
because I'm all in. I'm crazy. Like
Yeah.
people shouldn't be me. I don't have a life. I don't have work-life balance. My personality, my soul, my being is making the best videos possible, entertaining my fans as best as I can. Like that is what exists on this planet, and I don't recommend it. You know?
I don't
Like,
recommend
You should
it.
have work-life balance. You should not devote your entire life to this one thing. Like go have fun. Like I'm miserable a lot of times. I have a mental breakdown every other week because I push myself so hard. Like I don't recommend it. It's like,
Yeah, and that's what's crazy too, because he could just stop. He's
Yeah.
got so much money.
Yeah.
There's no reason that he has to just keep going.
So yeah, I 100% not that I'm saying I'm Mr. Beast or Elon Musk at all, but burnout happens in every level.
Right.
Burnout will always happen.
Yeah.
The good thing is that I love to work.
Yeah.
I thrive on putting myself through stressful situations.
Yeah.
And sometimes I shouldn't volunteer in some. what's it called? Like running a marathon, for example, having
Right.
like no experience of running a marathon in like 2 months of training. It's not because I can fucking run one,
Yeah.
but it's because I've never taken on a challenge like that.
Right.
And it's just that feeling when you're done. Or like same thing with like the Spartan race. One of the obstacles in the Spartan race was climbing a rope. I've never climbed a rope in my life. I suck
Yeah.
at calisthenics.
Yeah.
But I'm so stubborn that
gonna
I
climb that
didn't
damn
want to
rope.
give. I was telling the guy that worked there. He kept looking at me. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna have to do burpees, man." Because here's the thing: if you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
complete the
yeah.
obstacle, you need to do burpees. I think it was like 20.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I'm doing it because there's a system to it. I'm
Right.
seeing it. And then you see me like she was there. She was recording it. And you see me. I'm like this. I'm like looking at this. I'm like, where am I going wrong? What is it that I need to do?
Yeah.
Which is similar here. Like when
Yeah.
like YouTube, or like the people that you either aspire to be or you can see, you can mirror a little bit. I was like, all right. And I'm looking at the guy. I'm like, I'm not leaving until I freaking get this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I finally figure out, got to tie it around my feet and then climb up on it. So it's like more
And
strategic
suddenly
than
you're using
nothing.
your whole body, not just your arms.
And yeah, and then you know, hitting that bell, but no one tells you after that is, you know, the getting down part. That's the part that no one tells you.
And you spend 20 minutes trying to figure out how to go.
Exactly.
tired.
So now my legs are like I like this, I like this on the freaking thing. But you know, I think it's a personality thing.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
it definitely is. It takes a certain kind of person to devote all of your being into juggling all of, you know, even what you're doing is probably
Yeah.
something I'd struggle with.
yeah. But here's the thing: it's I think you learn to love it a little bit more every
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the love grows with it. But yeah, man, guys, this has been awesome. Anything else you want to touch on?
No, I think that was it.
Yeah.
We're excited for new stuff, new
No,
content.
honestly, I think you
different
gave
kind
us a lot of
content.
good information. so-
Yeah.
Dude, likewise. I love seeing you guys. I love hanging out with you guys. You know, like always just catch up. We doesn't always have to be once a year, but
Yeah.
at least we have that once
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish you guys the best. Please send me a screenshot of you reaching out to this guy. I'm gonna be your podcast accountability buddy here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's help each other grow. You know, the fun thing about content creating is there's competition, but there's also a lot of collaboration.
Right.
So I think we should really hone in on that. So
Yeah.
guys, the best of luck to you. I can't wait to see what you guys got going on next. Let's keep in touch. Leave It Running podcast on YouTube. Keith Faulkner, Agent Records. Follow them on Instagram. We'll list everything there. A lot of exciting things. Follow them. Subscribe to them. Subscribe to us. And if you haven't already, like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss many more episodes to come. Go to eppodcast.us. We're probably going to switch that to .store soon. Shop the merch. Support the cause. Screw the mainstream media. And until next time.